Hey guys, so what I have for you here today is the Max Evolution, a collaboration between custom knife maker Jerry Moen and Millit knives. Let me take for a second to show you how it'll come in the packaging when you get yours. So for mine, it came in a USPS priority mail box, and this was inside there. You have the name of it, Max Evolution. You also have Millit Knives logo and Jerry Moen's. And the knife comes in a nice zippered pouch. It is actually rather substantially padded. And you also have, see if I can get that out right, Shane's business card, and you can find them at Millit Knives on Instagram and Millit Knives on Facebook and millitKnives.com. Also came with a few stickers. It came with 3. I already used one because who doesn't like stickers? And that's it for packaging. So like I said, it is a collaboration between Jerry Moen and Millit Knives. This was intended to be a production version of Jerry's Customs and draws inspiration from the Blue Max and the current one that he's making, the Panther. And what this essentially is a scaled up version of the Panther. Jerry sent one over to Millit Knives for the team to look over, and what they ended up doing is just scaling it up. Panther, I believe, is 7.5, 8 inches. This one is about 8 3/4 inches. Weight is between, I say, 6 or 7 ounces. So it's not a lightweight knife, but it's also doesn't feel all that heavy in the pocket. Has a 3.5 inch cutting edge on this Warncliffe style blade, with about 3 3/4 inches coming up to the handle. It is done in a hand-rubbed satin finish. And what Shane tells me he does is he brings up the entire blade to a full mirror polish to eliminate any of the initial grind lines that were on there, so that when he puts the final finish on it, all you can see is this amazing hand-rubbed satin. And in the right angles, it still does almost look like a mirror polished blade. It came super sharp out of the box, as you would expect. And if you look closely, if you can see it, the secondary bevel is also mirror polished, and it is shave sharp. And that tapers down to a really thin point. I wouldn't hesitate to call that a razor thin point if you can get it to focus. There you go. Possibly thin, coming down to the cutting edge as well. And it is done with a crowned spine. The jimping, it doesn't really do anything traction wise. I just say it's just there for decorations to match the spine, or the back spacer. You can kind of choke up on it right there. There's a nice choil. You want to be careful not to get to the cutting edge, but otherwise it should be fine. It's not cutting me right now. But again, the jimping doesn't really do anything. The handle is a armor black Cerakoted titanium handle with titanium pivot screws, titanium back spacer, and a milled titanium pocket clip. All anodized in this vibrant purple, almost blurple color. And even on the inside of the pocket clip, they still also did machining to sort of match the back spacer. It is done with a copper inlay set into the titanium frame, with mammoth ivory set into the copper. So as they described, it was an inlay within an inlay. And that copper will get on a patina over time. Right now it's just this shiny yellowish color, but it should turn into a nice almost red when it gets some use on it, and just from being handled, which should make for a nice contrast between the black handle and the ivory. And the body screws are, I believe, stainless steel, which are also armor black Cerakoted to match the handle. The action is spectacular. It has a titanium, I would say, not sure whether to call this a tab lock or a subframe lock. It is only on a partial portion of the handle. It is not on both sides. It is different from Jerry's customs, which are actually set into the handle. These are just screwed on. I don't know if you can see. You probably can't. Right there. It's held on with 3 screws here on the lock bar side, right there. And I did have it bronze anodized as well. So yeah, I don't know. I would call it a tab lock, or well, it could be a subframe lock. Whichever one you choose. And the action is super smooth, and it flips with authority from that detent. It does have a ceramic detent ball. And it rides on bearings as well. I don't know if you can see that there. And there is not a sharp edge on this knife anywhere besides the cutting edge. Everything is just nicely rounded off. The titanium pocket clip is blind screwed into the handle right there and is actually machined to have a little pocket to fit not only into the titanium frame, but also into the copper and the ivory. And people would say this is a production knife, but really with all the work I know and the scene Shane and the guys at Millit put on these, I certainly would not hesitate to call it a custom. The starting price for these would be, they have 2, I would say, more traditional production models of one with just a titanium, uncoated titanium handle with a, they call it a bright washed, stone washed finish on the blade. It is sort of a, I would describe it as a cross between a hand rubbed satin and a stone wash. I think they do the stone wash first and then they kind of polish some of it out, so you can't really, it's kind of half and half. And then the other one they do is the black Cerakoted handle with a black Cerakoted blade as well. And for those, for the uncoated blade, uncoated handle, it is just the plain titanium, along with the pivot screw as well. It's all just plain titanium body screws and the clip, and the back spacer is unanodized. But for the coated blade and handle, the screws, the pivots, back spacer, and pocket clip are anodized, I believe, blue. And for those two, instead of having an inlay, it is sort of a really nice checkering finish on the right here where it would be, with a sort of I don't know what they called it, I forget, a really nice milled line outlining everything, and that's anodized blue as well to match the hardware on the coated handle and blade, and on the stone washed one it is not. Now the base price for those, I believe, is $450 for the stone wash, and I want to say $500 for the coated. And this one being more of a customized version, the copper and the ivory and the hand rubbed satin, it ran me about $650. I believe without the ivory I think was, I want to say 100, 150 extra. And the orders for the stonewashed and the coated knives are open right now, and you can just get one. I'm not sure if they're done with the more customized ones. I know they did a run of 30, which were in a Damasteel blade, and others were hand ground either by Millit Knives Shane at Millit Knives or by Jerry Moen himself. And they did a bunch of different color options for the handle. Some they did yellow, gold, I believe one might have been orange, and they had different inlay options as well. You could have ones where it was just full ivory or whatever inlay you chose. It wasn't an inlay and an inlay, it's just a single one. And you can have the double inlay as well. You could have, I don't know, carbon fiber, full copper. You can have titanium. I believe one was done in a C-Tech, that with the Damasteel blade and the orange or yellowish handle. They called it the Yellow Jacket, with the black C-Tech, which was really cool. And I believe right now they're doing the excuse me, they're doing one with full Damascus handles with Damasteel inlaid into it and a Damasteel blade. Now for this one, I'm still a little mad that I didn't manage to score a Damasteel blade, but that was only because I didn't see them offer it with the ivory inlay, and that's the one I really wanted. I would have also gone for Damascus, but I don't recall seeing them doing it as an inlay. I think it was just for the whole handle. But yeah, I'm happy with it. And right now they're also doing a run of, I would say, entry-level ones with, instead of a titanium frame, you get, what is it, 660 aluminum, something like that. And they come in a variety. You can choose, there are more options for the, it's not Cerakoted, it's anodized aluminum, and you can get a variety of color options for that as well. And the blade, I believe the blade is done in CPM 154. You can have it coated or uncoated, and you can choose what color anodizing they'll do on the handles. Actually, some they might even do with the Cerakote as well. I know they two that I've seen were, one is it was a red blade with a white Cerakoted handle, and another one was all black. They did one with a green, either anodized or Cerakoted handle. And the milling options, you don't have that sort of checkered milling that's on the titanium version. Actually, some they did, but it wasn't a full, I guess to kind of differentiate it from the titanium versions, they sort of separated out into, I guess, blocks which had the milling, and it was milled around them. And some they left the milled portion plain. And I think for the, I know for the Blade Show, they are doing a run of, they call it the Mini Max, which is just a scaled down version of this. I'm not sure how much more smaller. I would guess maybe around 7.5 inches, closer to the size of the original Panther. And I know they'll be doing a run in Damasteel and possibly hand ground cts-xhp blades as well. So I'm really excited to see that. I'm not sure if they'll be offering it to buyers outside of Blade Show, but I know if you go to Blade Show, they will have them there, and they will be vending. So I'm really excited to see those. Hopefully I get to snag a Minimax in Damasteel. That's my ultimate goal. Really the same setup, purple anodized, black handle, with hopefully a Mammoth Ivory if they make one, and just the Damasteel blade. And this one did come in. It was bigger than I thought, but being so slim, that's why I said it doesn't feel all that heavy in the pocket. And really, for the only flaws I can find, right now there is just a slight hint of lock stick. Let me see if I can show you. I'd say it's about 40-50% lockup, and there is just a slight hint of lock stick, but I'd say that's just because the blade is new. They should have made the lock face and the lock bar should made up nicely over time. See right there. Yeah, over time that should go away, hopefully. And one thing I did notice is that it did come out of the box with, I'm not sure if you can see this in this lighting, right there. Right here. There's a tiny little mark that I noticed. I'm not sure if that's in the titanium itself or just the Cerakoting. And with the Mammoth Ivory, I don't really mind. There might be, I don't know, divots or anything like that, but that's just because of the natural material and when working with the Mammoth Ivory. And other than that, other than this one little dent right there, I have noticed that this one screw, I don't know if you can see it, but it's shinier than the rest, which, like these, they're all just matte black, like the handle. But on this one, you can't see a bit of shine. It's not really anything. Right now, I'm just, with these two, I'm just basically just nitpicking. I don't really care. The knife is phenomenal. I have emailed Shane. Hopefully he can send me a spare screw to kind of just round up the other ones in the handle, just a spare one that's matte black as well. And you know, I hit him up. I also asked him to see if he had any more titanium screws that I could possibly anodize to get the same color and match the rest of the hardware. But you know, hey, if he throws that in, awesome. If not, hey, I don't mind. I'm good with the matte black. Yeah, this thing is absolutely fantastic. Grips well. Oops. And I haven't really seen too many reviews of these yet. I know the only one I've seen so far would be EpicSnuggleBunny's. Throw him a shout out there. Check out his videos. He does a lot of knife reviews. If you want to check out his review, he had the bright washed, stone washed handle and blade for his Max Evolution. I know a lot of people have gotten theirs, but I don't know, I just haven't seen any reviews on them or seen too many videos, which is a shame because some of them are fantastic. But yeah, check out EpicSnuggleBunny's review on his and also his other knife reviews as well. He has a lot. Right now, I'm just waiting for Jim Skelton to make his video. Jim, if you're watching this, come on, man. I know he got one in, I believe, Damasteel and maybe Timascus from the New York Custom Knife Show. And he also has one coming in with the carbon fiber inlay within an inlay, and it's it was copper infused carbon fiber, which with gold hardware. So that was fantastic looking. So hopefully he makes a review on one, hopefully both knives. Hopefully he's just waiting to get the second one before he does a review. But yeah, Jim, I just really want to see that one. So check out Jim's videos as well, Jim Skelton here on YouTube, and EpicSnuggleBunny on YouTube. And Jim also has videos of a lot of other fantastic customs as well. So if you've if you're into custom knives, you should definitely check that out. And he's hilarious. I love the guy. But yeah, that's it for this one.